What? I won't even start yet. I was ready for the sync clap.
Are you ready? Oh, what's in the bottle, Mikesh?
Oh, Vimto.
How strongly concentrated is it?
It's I'd say so that top part was all Vimto. I like drank the bit of water and then all Vimto and then water.
Okay. It's a bit strong.
I like it. To be fair, I like it stronger because then you taste.
I
the
didn't know
flavor.
we were doing this podcast intoxicated.
Yeah. I've already hit the bottle, man. It's mad. One day that'll happen. Are we starting or are we talking about real life first and then coming back to this?
We can talk first, and then if we want to, because we can always cut stuff together. Like there's no real. Oh yeah, fucking obviously. Like I was organized before Christmas, but then since Christmas, I just completely lost all semblance of reality. So before Christmas, I scheduled the 2 podcasts, and then if you
Right.
notice, the second one came up just the file name, and I was like, the other day
It said Tears
Tiers
2 or
3.
Tears 3.
Yeah. So I just I realized that the other day, like just went, oh fuck.
Oh yeah, I saw it and I was like, all right, he's obviously not trying with the name anymore, and that's fine. Like I don't care. But I was like, oh, this is a big difference.
Nah, I just completely forgot it even got scheduled. But yeah, so I'll go back before this one goes up and just give it like scheduling, and then I need to run through and clip stuff, but
Yeah,
it's
no,
not. You don't.
There's no pressure. Like,
No, and as well, like you can kind of clip stuff in hindsight. You can clip all of them once a month or something like that.
yeah. What episode? What conversation is this for? In it. Let's get ready. All right.
So, obviously, I'm sticky, man. I had the radiator.
Obviously, you're sticky.
Are you not?
I don't know why that was. I don't know why they obviously made that.
What texture are you right now?
Obviously, I'm sticky. Like, come on. How do you know? Yeah.
If you had to pick one, what were you?
I'd be dry, bro. Like,
Dry.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm dry,
dry
bro.
guy,
Shit,
man.
come
Dry
on.
guy.
Glisten.
Perhaps you need some moisture.
I got a dry glisten. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like,
There's no such thing as a dry. Oh, actually, because when your nose is like super clean, it like shines, doesn't it? You know what I mean? You ever
yeah.
clean your ears too much and they go shiny?
I don't know because I don't go. Oh, whoa. Why am I like James Webb telescope like mirrors out? You know what I mean? Come
Why is this guy checking his reflection in my ear? Oh,
got my
shit.
blinkers on and that.
Yo, I'm too hot already. Let me get my chest out. That's
Why
where
don't you just wear a t-shirt, bro? Like,
because I imagine that I'll be too cold, but also I don't know what state my body's in socially.
it's
Like,
sticky. Yeah.
no, my body's not. But it's just my face because I don't know. Do you moisturize?
Yeah.
So like we used to have this sick moisturizer. It was like 27 quid though. So like it's really good. It's really light and thin and stuff. But because it's expensive, we had to switch to like a cheaper one. And I find that it leaves the best moisturizers. You put it on, it soaks in, and then your skin's just good for the rest of the day. The worst ones, you kind of about 11 o'clock, you start to go, it's not really. It's a bit of grease on there and. But yeah, so that's my moisturizer detailing. But the so it's difficult because I think it's been quite a nice start to the conversation. So I kind of want to just be like, let's just start from the beginning and chuck it up. But then obviously I also want to talk about like personal stuff that I wouldn't necessarily want on the thingy. So I don't.
How long do you have to record? Like, how free are you?
I mean, I'm free. Leisha's out.
As in, we'll record the regular conversation, then we'll talk properly after. If that makes sense.
Record. Yeah. As in do that. Yeah, we could do because we can talk about the personal stuff. Yeah, all right. Yeah, and then I'll just cut out this little bit maybe because I think that start was quite nice. There's a lot of jokes and stuff.
So do I do a hard like?
I don't want the world knowing that I'm sticky. No, you don't need to. We'll chuck in the beginning and we'll just start naturally, and then we'll lead on from what point we want. A good point to start with would be asking you. I don't know.
You don't know.
Now that I know that we're recording, I'm nervous.
Right. I have a topic for us at some point today because I'm just curious and I kind of want to talk through my thoughts. My
Let's go. Let's run into
selfishly,
that.
let me give you some like selfish context first. Yeah, selfishly, I want to talk through my thoughts about it as more like 60%, and you versus your 40% of knowing what you would do, like what your thoughts are. Yeah, so I'm
Okay.
gonna preface that, and I apologize for
Right.
that. So I've been, I would say, struggling. I've been thinking about a lot about how, like, what my definition of success is,
Sure.
and like goals. Because obviously, like New Year, you think about goals and shit. But I've been thinking about this like since December, in my time off in general. Just what I think about of my goals in life and success and all this kind of cool stuff. Because when I finished uni, there was like a period of time after graduation where I wasn't working. I was just at home, just trying to grind on the daily, trying to create some shit. And I like literally, I manifested and wrote down some of my goals in life. Like I want to move out by the time I'm 24. I want to be able to buy a house for my parents or something. Like I want to be able to write a book. I want to create daily. All this kind of like real goals of mine. Like move to Toronto at some point in my life. Like, do you know what I mean? Some of these shits. Move to London was one of them as well.
Mm.
And that was like straight after uni. I wrote it on a piece of paper, like a big A2 piece of paper, stuck it on a wall in my room, and just every day had that reminder. That was 2015 for
Yeah.
time context, and we're now in 2022.
7 years ago.
I've achieved a couple of those goals. I moved out when I just turned 25, but it was there or thereabouts. I moved to London. I lived that life pretty well. I created very regularly in intervals in that time. I've done a couple of things on that list, and there's a part of me that thinks that I should obviously sit down and figure out what's next and what goals I actually want to achieve now at the age of 28 and in 2022 and so on.
Mm.
But the the thing I keep telling myself that's stopping me is because I don't know what my new definition of success is.
Yeah.
So again, to give you more context on the success side of things, my original when I was growing up, because we didn't have much money growing up, my definition of success was to be able to earn enough money to like buy um, buy a coffee without any thought about, oh, that £4 is gonna ruin my life, or
Mm.
buy um, buy lunch somewhere and not worry about the £12, buy takeaway at like on a Friday and not worry about the £20. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
as like minimal as that sound, food and drink was always my like, all right, that's if I can do that without having to worry about that. Because when we grew up, it was like, oh, takeaway was a novelty, like a
Mm.
coffee in a shop was a novelty, like all this kind of stuff.
Mm.
So that used to be my definition of success, and I've hit that like a couple of years ago now, a few years
Yeah.
ago now, and I don't know what my new definition of success is to help define what my new goals are, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I My question to you is more: do you know what your goals are in life? In terms of like, do you have like a recent set of goals that you set, or do you know your definition of success on a similar level kind of thing? Sorry, and again, apologies. That was just like a long thought, something I've been thinking
No,
about for the
no,
past
that's
like few
good.
weeks. Like,
No, I like that, man. That's what I love, man. I love the fact that you've thought about it a lot because I think that's really important to think about. I was taking a page out of Elon Musk's book then because I watched just a few clips of his interview with Lex Friedman where like Lex asks a question and there's like 30 seconds before Elon answers and he just sits there like this, completely still, like
proper thinking.
yeah. I don't know if my brain works like that, but I talk my way into sense, I think, more than that. But so I would in it's so complicated, man, because I've gone through all sorts of things in my life, and we had a conversation in Costa a while back when we last saw each other in person,
Yeah,
and that conversation involved the kind of the middle ground between peace and the hedonic treadmill almost. So peace being, you can find peace in your setting. You could probably find a really deep level of peace if you embodied like the Buddhist way and like accepted things and just whatever and relinquished desire. And then the other side of it, but there's the hedonic treadmill of always wanting and aspiring to more. And like, how do you kind of like, because the world is the hedonic treadmill, human beings are on that hedonic treadmill, and everything we fucking do in all of society is literally like, how about this new thing? How about this new thing? How about this next job? How about the next level up, next level up, next level up, whatever. And we kind of came to the conclusion that it has to be somewhere in the middle, unless
Yeah.
you're going to become a complete hermit and live in a cave.
Yeah.
And so I've always really struggled with that. How do I define success? Because I could define success as living happily and giving my loved ones as much attention as I possibly can and being conscious around them.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, uh, like I don't know if that gets stale because you can't remain in that state forever. You can do 3 months where you are like zen as fuck and you're like looking after everyone and you're
Yeah.
those moments when I'm actually spending time with one of my family members and I'm giving them like the fucking fullest of attention, and you click and you go, oh shit, like it's because you must have had this in the past where you're with your family member, but for whatever reason you're on your phone, or
Yeah.
whatever reason you're just not really listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, you can do that for a bit, but then you always come back to this thing of, I guess, like what would you call it, like career success or like aspirational success.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm personally working on the whole systems versus goals thing. I'm
Yeah.
kind of working on the systems basis. I would say I don't have a solid thing at the moment, but I would say my thing would be to effectively what you said, yeah, but with a little bit more, as in being able to travel,
Yeah.
being able to maybe buy nice things for my family, to look after everyone I know, and things like, so for example, let's say for you, right, if I could, if I was financially capable right now, I would love to just send you a fucking present out the blue like that. The idea of doing that for my friends is such a nice idea, but I
Yeah.
can't do it.
But
I
reality.
think
Yeah.
stuff like that, I don't know, I know that's not like an easy answer because I
No,
mean
no, no.
you
That
can't.
is, again, mine was just a thought. So even hearing thoughts back is
Yeah,
a
of
good thing.
course, of course. So really, I think it is good to that you're doing the right thing. Definitely, you should define what success means to you, because another thing in the personal MBA, which is like a business book, but it's also got like some life kind of tips in it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that he says is not about success, sufficiency, and he says, what is sufficient to you? Because you don't want to stay on that treadmill past the point of what is like acceptable for you to
Yeah,
live a
yeah, yeah,
happy life.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you had them? I won't be able to tell it like verbatim, but have you heard of the whole story of the the guy who's a fisherman, and this like businessman goes up to him and he's like, oh, you fish a lot, like is that all you do all day, like how's your life, is it good, whatever? And the fisherman says like, yeah, I do this and I fish all day but I love it. In the evenings I go and play guitar, I would sit around with my friends, talk, drink, like have a nice time, whatever. And basically, the long story short is that this guy is like, oh, I've got a really good opportunity for you at this company, and you can come and do this. And if you work your way up, you'll be like earn loads of money, um, and so on and so forth. And I think the conclusion of the story is that a lot of people spend their time trying to earn loads of money so that they can spend time with their family,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
doing their hobby like fishing, which is kind of free.
yeah.
And do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's worth anything. I'll try and find the story to send you later because it's nicer laid out and stuff. But yeah,
No,
there's
that
just
makes a
more
lot of
thoughts
sense.
fired back
Yeah,
at you.
yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I read. I'm gonna butcher it, but I read an article the other day about um I guess during the pandemic and probably pre-pandemic, people are giving their all to work, making their work their life
Mm.
because they think that's what's going to make them um, feel happy and rising, going up the ladder, doing working long hours just to keep your boss happy, so that
Mm.
they might give you a raise at the end of the year or all of that kind of stuff. Just like kind of putting your all into this thing that for somebody else because you're not quite happy with your life is
Mm.
the gist of the article, but
Mm.
kind of makes sense here. Yeah, it's a struggle because again, it's probably I'm going to use the term laziness, but it's probably not the right one in terms of because I feel like I've hit my all I knew growing up. That was my definition of success, and I've hit
Mm.
that shit. And now I have like ideas of success in terms of if I owned a house or
Mm.
uh, owned a cool car or whatever, or not even a cool car, but just you know what I mean, all that kind of stuff, the material shit. I don't know whether that is actually my definition of success. Do you know what
Mm.
I mean? Because
It's
again,
someone else's. It's
yeah,
someone else's. Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about relationships and whether I'll ever get married or even want kids or do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just I'm seeing the homies around me like live good lives like that, and I'm just like maybe that's not for me. Like maybe I don't want that.
Do you? I mean,
Um,
do you mind me asking this? What is your conclusion on that? Like, have you? I mean, you won't have a conclusion as such because you're young and you
I
don't need to.
yeah
But
I always say never. I always say never say never, but I actually just I think I am too selfish with my ideals and time to ever. Obviously, I feel like I'm a very loving person. If I found the right person, I would give them
mm,
everything I could. But I feel like I have such ideas about how to live my life that I would struggle. Maybe is probably the better
mm.
term to kind of adapt. Um,
I think as well, it's a bit of a weird one in the sense that you don't really know whether you want a kid until you're with someone
yeah,
that, do you know what I mean? Like,
of
it's
course.
not like I just want a kid like out of
The,
nowhere, like pop one out.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
because, me and Alicia spent time together and it'd be
of
a
course.
nice, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it makes
The
sense. Go on.
the other thing that I think about a lot when it comes to having kids, again, coming back to the selfish point, and I think I'm just in that kind of zone right now, is that I recently had a conversation with my parents about how they had an arranged marriage. My mom was 23, my dad was 25, 26 when they got married, and how they literally didn't have the chance to like understand themselves and they didn't get to live their life
Yeah.
because like literally a year into their marriage they had my sister like and then as soon as they have that it's like all your focus kind of has to be on that kid, right? Like for the
Yes.
main
Yes.
part. um and I see it, so I think it might just be like I'm tainted by my culture, but it's just I see that so often. My cousins have done it. My cousins got married and then a year later boom,
Mm,
had a kid. Like it's just it blows my mind, like how are you not willing to spend time on yourself or with each other, or
mm.
do you know what I mean? Like how, and obviously kids are a blessing, marriage is a blessing, love, blessings, all of it. I'm super happy for people that are in it, but I think I'm just in a very, I want to make something of myself,
Yeah.
and I'm probably scared as well that it
Mm,
will take away
mm.
from what I could give to the world because I'm giving so much to somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think maybe that is, I mean, I haven't, I'm not there yet, will
Yeah,
be soon-ish. And I think maybe there's a slight problem with culture, like modern day culture around the idea of having kids, because the idea is that once you have a kid, that's it. And so that has been a great cause of stress for me about even before, we were sort of like we found out Alicia was pregnant. It's been a great source of stress for me leading up to a certain age, because knowing that we will have a kid one day, and I feel like once I have the kid, I can't then, work on everything else.
yeah,
But I think you can. but I think it takes a certain person, and it will change you for sure. Like I'm expecting, I'm expecting to grow as a thingy of having the kid. I mean, as a thing of having that other thing that I can care for more than myself, because we all have complicated relationships with ourselves, and I know for a fact that that thing I will love with everything, and there will be no like your little prick like in the back of my head. Whereas with me, it's like you arsehole, you useless piece of shit. And I won't be like that with the kid. So yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I think, but I think you can. I mean, of course, I'm going to say that because I still want to work on myself, and I'm not going to abandon that pursuit. But if anything, for me at the moment, it's motivated me to like step up another
Rise
gear.
above. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I would say to you though, man, is like I think there's a whole thing where, in a very weird way, there's a mismatch between when females are most fertile. It's a really weird conversation. When females are most fertile, and when men are mature enough or are feel like they're in the right stage to have a baby. So I feel like men are in the right stage when they're like above 30, and I think the fertility thingy it decreases at 30. And so actually the perfect match is like a 35-year-old man with maybe a younger woman. I mean, all matches different, whatever. And so as a result, you could have 8 more years, you're still fertile. You could have 12 more years, you're still fertile. 17, you'll be
Yeah.
45, you're still fertile. So you can do that. You can literally do what you want for the next 17 years, and then you might go, okay, you know what? Find some nice young pretty thing.
Yeah.
Sounded so
I know.
perverted.
No. I know your point. It's just I don't know. I'm not.
You don't have to
I,
worry about it,
yeah.
basically.
It's more. It's more like when I'm trying to think about. Well, coming back to the goals thing and my success,
Mm,
like because I'm really need to do the work. I'm not been trying to do the work, but I need to figure out that shit. Figure out what my new outlook
yeah.
on success is for me because I live a comfortable life. Um I'm comfortable with how I've progressed in my career. I'm comfortable with um the time and effort I give to the people I love. Like I have great solid relationships. My circle is small, but like that's all I need in life really.
Mm,
As much as I used to love knowing everyone and talking to everyone, my real circle is super small. Like um I live a like I said comfortable life. I'm happy. Like if I boil everything down to a tally chart, it's gonna like add up to happy. Like I'm cool. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? So I feel like I'm putting off my definition of success and goals because it also means I have to get uncomfortable again. I think maybe uncomfortable is the wrong word, but like it will take me out of happiness for the most part until I get there again. That that driven part of you is like, oh, I'm not going to be happy until I get this.
Mm. The
Um,
desire, the whole desire is a contract with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want.
yeah,
Like it literally is, man.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and so yeah, you're right. Once you set these goals, you'll be making that it's such a weird thing. It's almost like you'll flick a switch on the exact same circumstances and turn them from happy to unhappy, even though they're good.
yeah, yeah.
Like you and that's a weird thing, isn't
Because
it?
I have obviously everyone wants more money. I would love more money, of course, but like I have everything I want in life. Do you know what I mean? Like if I look at what I've always wanted and what I have now, I'm sort of there. Obviously, the material stuff like my own house or whatever. I'm not there yet, but just in terms of my soul is happy. I'll say. Do you know what I mean? I can't put it any other way. It's just there's a lot to
It's a
figure
piece.
out.
It is
Yeah,
peace. I
yeah, for
think
sure, man.
sorry, I just had to I think my audio might have changed, right? Because I halfway through, you remember last time it was on the Bose headphones.
Hmm.
Halfway through I was like, shit, like maybe I need to make sure on Skype this time because I don't know whether I did that last time. And I just had a look and I changed it to my audio input and now I don't know whether it was that before. It was on my default, so it might all of a sudden my audio might just be like, "Wow, he's like,"
Yeah. Or it didn't
is it?
record and now it's recording, or the
Yeah.
opposite way,
Oh
which is
God.
even more stressful.
Oh no, I've definitely
Oh,
recorded,
okay,
but
good.
just done it in a different. Yeah, I think I mean, you definitely. I think you should. I think you should set some goals and stuff, and maybe set a new. I think that's fair. That's and you now will have completely different goals. I do think.
Yeah,
I do think you should maybe some of your goals should be regarding, like, say, more personal circumstances because you're kind of happy with a lot of that stuff right now. Some of that
yeah,
stuff should be um, maintained.
yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So you're not because you don't if you're happy with that stuff, you don't need to improve that. And also, like, I mean, you don't want to try and improve too many things at once anyway, do you? Because it's hard to, and then you just takes away from all the others.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a good time for you. You know, you don't want to wait until 30 because that's what most people do, and that's a bit of a weird one when you turn 30. I think you're in a weird space. Maybe that's good for motivating yourself to, like,
push
fucking
on.
go.
Yeah,
But but yeah, man, yeah, no, I'm excited to, like, see what you come up with and stuff.
yeah. So
Um,
am I. So am I.
but
But
also
yeah,
at the same time, you don't like the goals you set. A lot of the time, the things that you will be happy with are different than the goals, which is a really weird one. And I guess it's knowing when you don't need to push forward with those goals
yeah,
anymore because you've got something else that's better or equal or whatever.
yeah,
But yeah, man, it's cool. It's always fun doing stuff like that, I think. It's you're gonna get like a real boost when you do it as well. You're
yeah,
gonna go
yeah, yeah.
turbo mode.
I was I was talking to my mate about it the other day, and he did such a great thing of like trying to motivate me again because he goes, "You're such a weird guy," and I go, "What do you fucking mean?" And he goes, "Because I don't know many people that would just fast for a month for the shits and giggles. I don't know who would wake up at 4:30 for 50 odd days in a row just for the shits and giggles. Like when you're motivated, you are like you're there, like you're good."
Yeah.
And I appreciated the compliment in the weird circumstance it came in. But but those are things I know I can flick on like those. I'll use the word easy for me in terms of
Mm.
if I know what I'm doing, I can be that monster. Do you know what I mean? If I can get past day three in a journey, because day one is easy because you're motivated to do it because it's new. Day two is like, oh, I get to do this again. Day three is like, fuck, I have to do this again. Like, do you know what I mean? Um,
Do you reckon? So, do you reckon? Would you say that's? I know that was just the thing that you chucked out there, day three. Do you reckon it's 3 days for you?
it's probably realistically like 4 or 5, but I know
Okay.
day three is always that one that you're like, fuck, I have to do this again, because especially if you're trying to like elongate your days and fit more in, you
Mm,
end up like that tiredness kind of just starts creeping in day three, because day two like you're still excited like, oh, I have to do this again, I have to do this again, and then day three is like, fuck, for
yeah.
me anyway.
So the
Yeah,
reason I ask is because I, on the 1st of January, I always like to start the new year well, just because I think people do it. I know everyone takes the piss out of it, but people do it for a reason. Like,
yeah, yeah.
it's a good divider of your
Hmm.
life. Years are a good divider of your life, and they're big, and the celebrations help because it turns. And I like the whole thing that everyone's staying up and getting drunk, and I'm like, no, this is and so on the 1st of January, I resolved to do a dopamine fast, right? Because I think my life is run by a reward seeking behavior, porn, coffee, desserts, sweet things, sugar,
Hmm.
and also watching things, social media, YouTube, TV, movies, whatever. I'm not going to abandon all of this forever, but for now, I need to reset my reward system so that I can have a better feeling of when I'm doing something to lift myself because I feel low. So I got some really, really weird examples here. Maybe I won't go into them. But the reason I relay this is that I am what was it, eighth? I'm 8 days in. The first week from the coffee detox and maybe also any other dopamine, but coffee in particular, I felt really tired, man. Like, I'd napped twice a day for like 4 days, like once after lunch, once after dinner.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
didn't have that. And then but it was easy to resist stuff. But then maybe like 2 days ago, all of a sudden, because we got sweets from Christmas sitting in the cupboards, 2 days ago, like I saw the sweets in the cupboard. I was like, pulled the sweets out, and I opened the lid and was like, had like a little sniff of them. I was like, yo, I was like, these sweets smell so good. And I was like, yeah. And then
That's addict behavior, by the way.
yeah, for sure, man, for sure. But I mean, tell me, probably 70% of the global population isn't addicted to
Oh
coffee.
yeah, no, of course,
Like,
of course.
do you know
I'm
what I
not cussing
mean?
out. I'm just saying it's
I'm
funny. Like,
so
it's
the
a cool
thing I
habit.
keep saying to Alicia is I'm addicted to bare stuff. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
lucky that it's not the worst stuff in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If someone jabbed me with heroin a few times, I'd be in a crack den right now. I mean, most people would, but
Yeah, we've spoken about it before, but addiction on the right things is always a good thing. Like, or
yeah.
not always, but it can be a very good thing.
So yeah, so people are addicted to work, and for the most part, that's a good thing. But for the rest, it's not because it goes too far.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry. Back to your sniffing
no,
sweets.
no, no.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good. It's good. Segue is a good. I'm what day 8, and this week is the week where it's like, okay, like things start to become attractive. You know, I said I had a really bad day yesterday, so we didn't record yesterday instead of today.
yeah, yeah,
I felt really low, and like I had the urge to, let's say, engage in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
some self
Some
molestation.
self. You could have said self help, and I would have understood.
Self Yeah, but I guess in some senses it has to be
Self pain.
reasonably
So
understand.
self.
Yeah, self inflicted pain. That's what they call it in some ways. And basically what it was is I was feeling down, and it's a coping mechanism of making yourself feel better. It lifts me a little bit. I mean, in the past I've had like, I actually think I can safely say now that in the past I've been addicted to porn, like genuinely. And that's kind of sad, but that's a whole nother thing. And so like I'm tracking this journey, but what's happened now is that I notice when I want stuff and why I want it. And so I picked up on that. I'm sad, and I've just gone all like this. And then I was like,
Yeah,
oh, whoa, I see you. I
yeah.
see
That's
you.
dope. That's
Um,
dope.
and to kind of thingy it, I think, I don't know. I think there'll be more milestones to cross. But in the past 8 days, I've finished 4 books. I've gone for a walk every single morning. I've meditated every single morning. I've the fucking else have I done? Oh, I've been coding every day, like more than I've done so far at all. Probably more combined in the past week than over the month of December.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I've been writing every evening as well. And on Friday, the day that I had the awful day, I did all of that, finished one book, got halfway through another, made Alicia lunch and dinner, like proper home cooked meals. And it's, I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to get at here, but I think one thing that I'm doing is I'm uh sort of thinking the dopamine fast. It's been insane. And any fast I think probably does that for you, and you probably get similar benefits from your fast. But then the other thing is the days, like you said, the 3 days. So for me, it was almost like, yeah, 3 days was a milestone for sure, because that was getting past the tiredness.
Yeah.
And then now I'm in the next thingy of like, oh, I'm starting to get little cravings here and there. 3 weeks away from now, I will start saying things in my head like, why are you giving up coffee anyway? Like, coffee's not so bad. And then you see someone on TV swigging a coffee. Kristen Shaw will be on there, like this nice hot coffee. Like, it will make her eyes flicker a little
Yeah,
bit.
that beautiful
But yeah,
woman. Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, I don't know, man. That's just a bit of a rant, but
No, I get your point. In terms of like in 3 weeks' time, do you feel like because you know the fast is ending, if you had a timeline on that fast, like that's why?
February 1st will be an instance, because I will allow myself to have some kind of dessert on February the 1st.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The other things that I've been rationing that I won't necessarily ration as much is movies, because what the other thing that it's done, um I don't want to go into it too much, but one of the reasons I'm doing it is because constantly consuming all these forms of dopamine, that's not really the right terminology, but that raise my like dopamine level and also my dopamine baseline. It means that my dopamine baseline's up here, watching porn gets me up there, maybe a little bit higher, but spending time with Alicia having a conversation gets me halfway because I've put it up too high. And what I've noticed is that all of a sudden, guess who's fucking back into music again? Like me. Guess who's back into like I can't wait. I've collected a list of movies, yeah, like good movies, not TV that you just put on in the background, but really good movies. And I can't wait to watch them. I'm loving reading. And the small things, like I've asked Alicia if she wants to start. We're eating at the table more. We used to eat at the couch. To play like board games after dinner, because fucking
Nice.
board games, man,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
played in the right company are a blast.
yeah.
And so, yeah, yeah. So that to try and like claw my way back. This is my life in conversation, man. It's like, how the fuck did I get here?
It's
Day
good. I'm with you. I'm with you.
day one of Feb will be
Yeah.
also a tough time because it's so easy to like just. But I've got the scan of the baby up on the mirror, and I've also actually hold it. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see it very. Yeah, you will. I've got it. Can't see it
You
great.
gotta move it that way. You gotta move it close to your mic. There you go. Jeez.
Yes, so it's on my phone because it's like
Yeah.
this isn't about you anymore. So yeah, but yeah. I'm really sorry. I got really excited because it's been. I don't want to get too optimistic, but it's been like the best 7 days I've had personally and personal motivation for a long time. Because before that, I wasn't working out. I was getting lost in porn, getting lost in. I would drink coffee, and then that would kind of, for some reason, bring me to porn somehow because it's like stacking. It's like
Yeah.
habit stacking. It's like the
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah.
Just like destruction stacking. But yeah, anyway, man. So also, what I would say is that maybe this is also a good time for you to like enter your thingy because we can motivate each other like we have in the past. But yeah, that's
Accountability. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
breathe and breathe.
Breathe. No. Yeah. You're right. I need to for myself set a routine. I think that will be my fast of some sort because I've been kind of like all over. No, I won't say all over the place. My days are pretty similar in terms of timings of stuff, but like do more personal work and like actually do something that fuels that creativity outside of work.
Mm,
I think that's something I'm also struggling with. I'm not saying I'm going to quit my job, but in terms of because I do a design job, it's difficult I'm finding it difficult to motivate myself to do design art outside of work. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of want to just get away. Like I'm
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. I like you. I already know how powerful fasts are, but like I like how you've kind of worded it in the sense that how powerful it's been for you.
Mm.
That makes sense. Like all 4 books in 8 days is nuts. Like
Yeah, yeah, it's
it's
mad, man. It's
it's
mad.
crazy.
I
Um,
would attribute some of the success to the fact that I'm reading fiction like again,
yeah.
and I'm loving it, absolutely loving it, man. Like in the past, you know me, I like non-fiction ones because I feel
Mhm.
like it's pushing me
Learning
forward.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Yeah, I have we talked in the past about the whole thing of sometimes you need like an earthquake, and I've not used that wording before, but sometimes you need something that like so my dad often takes on too much work. Maybe he'll listen to this, but I haven't shared our videos with anyone yet. I don't know about
Yeah.
you.
Me either.
But he often will say things like, "Oh, I feel like packing it all in" when he has a really stressful week at work, and all that. And I think the reason, or he says stuff like, "I want to sell the house and buy a camper van and travel," right? So realistically, like in between is the more viable option to get a camper van and keep the house. And then what was the other option that I gave? The other example that I gave, work.
Hmm.
The better option would be to cut down his work to like 4, 5 sites or whatever, earn an income, be sweet, and not be stressed, but still have an income, whatever.
Yeah.
But that it's harder to make those small changes, and actually they might not even make enough of a difference.
Yeah.
Whereas like me, when I threw my portfolio out the window, that just it really just changed me. I'm not I'm I'm not a landscape gardener anymore. Like all of a sudden, and that took so much for me to do, like so much work for me to do in my head and go, you hold on, like who are you then?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
you've done for
Because
like
your
10
yeah,
years.
because your
Yeah, so
identity falls
that's
in
what
that
I'm
work.
saying. I'm
Yeah,
not telling you to quit your job.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I know.
sometimes, like, kind of throwing the bathwater out with the baby, a metaphor
Yeah,
which a to be dad should not use,
yeah.
is is like what you need to do, because maybe the
Yeah, yeah.
bathwater's gotten a bit tepid. And yeah, I was gonna say
Comfortable.
something.
Like it is. No, no, you're right. Yeah, like it comes back to the earlier point. I need to make myself uncomfortable to get motivated almost.
Mm,
Because all of my best moments, I guess, creatively, have come from, no, I wouldn't say earth shattering, but like the idea of some shit's gone down and it's the best thing that could happen to me. Do you know what I
pain,
mean? Basically,
basically.
say yeah, like we spoke about last time, it's a tortured artist kind of vibe. Um, but yeah, it's apologies for constantly looping. It's just
No,
fuck
no,
it.
no. That's good. It's good, man.
It's a lot to think about, man. I don't know why in my head I feel like I should be complaining about being comfortable and happy, and like,
Uh,
do you know what I mean?
it's it's the desire for more. Like, even this is why, even if you are in a mode of peace, it's not gonna go away, because that's who we fucking are, man. That's what
Trying
human
to get better.
beings are built like, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's, yeah, it's a good, like, it's good though, man. It is really exciting. Like, it's like, where do I go next? You could do something completely random, like pick up a random extreme sport.
I have always been the sporty type. Let me turn extreme. All right.
Base
Um,
jumping.
base jumping. Do you know what? I'd love to skydive. I feel like I probably, back to your dopamine thing. I feel like I'm an adrenaline junkie for that reason. Like I feel like
Yeah.
my idea of what actually get becomes exciting is like so up here. Like,
Mm.
and because we are technically part of the internet age, right? Like I feel like you see so much shit online that it kind of just lessens what
It
you
does.
think of these things.
It does. Yeah. And that's, you must have had this experience of being somewhere absolutely outstandingly beautiful and being like, okay, this is it. Like, where's the feeling? The feeling
Yeah,
is
yeah,
supposed to be
yeah,
here
yeah,
of wow, but where's the feeling? I can't feel it. And then you think, so is this not that good then?
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if I told you the story of when we cycled Death Road in Bolivia, me and Alicia. So before we got to the actual Death Road, which is obviously, it's the short roads next to the cliffs, and they're really dangerous. They're crumbling away. There's big rocks that you go over and you lose control, whatever. We cycled down this like actual road, like tarmac, but it was still going through the mountains. Um, pardon me. And it was fucking beautiful, man. We're cycling through mountains, some of them with like snow on, I think, if I remember rightly. And we got to the bit where we had to put our gear on, proper gear, to do Death Road itself. And I turned to this guy and I said, wow, like, even just that cycling down those mountain roads was, even that alone was one of the best experiences of my life. And he said, oh, you must have not done much then. And I was just like, at the time, I was like, wow, it hurt me, because I was like, I was
Yeah,
kind of like, oh,
yeah,
well, maybe I haven't and stuff. But with this whole thing now, I've looked back at that and realized that I wasn't the one. I shouldn't feel sorry for myself, or I haven't done much, but actually him,
yeah,
because I could enjoy that
yeah,
in the same way that some people who probably don't blast their brains with social media all the time can go for a walk, see the sea, see a tree, and it's beautiful, man.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
have you ever had those moments where you look at the randomest of things and
Hmm.
it is like everything, like the meme where it's all the maths numbers coming up.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
necessarily that,
But it's
but
all adding
more
up. Like
like
life is adding up at that
like
point. Yeah, yeah,
neural connections, like all
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
synapses going like that. Um, and so that's why that's connected to the dopamine fasting, because I think that we can enjoy those things, and that we only ever feel just sort of content, but not like pure joy, like
Yeah,
pure.
yeah,
And I think some of it is connected to the fact that I want to enjoy the most of, like, my baby, like being born and
Of
whatever.
course.
It's like as much as possible, but yeah, man, it's hard in the modern day world, man. I really think it is. I think at some point that I don't really believe in government control of the internet, but I do at the same time worry for the future of kids, my kid, anyone else's kid, anyone, any person, when you can just access porn like at such a young age, not just porn, but
I think
everything like this.
I tell you, the example I'm going to give is whether you remember World Star Hip Hop. They used to have those like
World
comp
Star.
they used to have like those compilations and shit, and you would literally just see people getting like murdered on
Fuck.
these compilations, and it kind of
Tone.
just, the more you see of that kind of thing, the less you, I guess, care or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. Just seeing shit at that rate and like just at your fingertips whenever you want it is kind of crazy
Mm,
when you pull it down.
yeah. We watched because I'm allowed to watch one thing on a Wednesday just because that's when the series I watch comes out, and then a movie at the weekend. So we'll watch
Mhm.
Matrix today,
Nice.
and we can talk about that after. But so on a Wednesday we watched the I know you're not super into Star Wars, but Boba Fett, the Book of Boba
Hmm.
Fett, and I was fucking buzzing, man. I was like proper like super happy about it. You know, like back in the day when you're waiting for an episode to come out.
Yeah.
I was like that for it. And I am also when we watch Matrix later, I'm going to be absolutely raring to go. Um, your World Star hip hop thing made me think of something, and it was something. Oh, there's this whole thing with cameramen that shoot like war, like so war journalists that are cameramen, whatever. I don't know
Hmm.
how to describe them, where they have this thing where they basically, because they're using a camera and filming this horrible stuff happening, their brain tricks them and they think that what they're seeing because they're looking through a lens isn't reality. And so it's almost like they think they're watching it on TV. And so they get into really dangerous situations where someone will grab them and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's
Yeah,
there
yeah,
like
yeah.
filming someone with a bazooka, like aiming at him or something. Um, but
But
that,
that makes total sense, isn't it? Because you're so used to seeing it on a
yeah,
screen at some point.
yeah. Bro, oh man, but yeah, I don't know. I just, I don't know. But I can't wait to like for you to get creating again and like, man, you need to you need to get a tablet, a drawing tablet, so you can show me how to use it properly.
I'm currently looking at one.
Oh,
So
nice. Yeah. Uh, um, how was Matrix? Don't give me any spoilers, but please say you fucking enjoyed it.
it was good.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
It was good. It was enjoyable. It's a great. I'm trying to figure out what to say without spoiling it. It's not really a spoiler. I'll say it's a great way to give new fans and old fans something. Like
I like that. Yeah.
it's a cool movie. It's a very cool movie.
Yeah, which is what you have to do now, isn't it? You can't just rely
Yeah,
on nostalgia because, I mean, ain't like the Matrix came out in the 90s, didn't it? So it's
99.
basically
Yeah.
it's our generation
Hmm.
with slightly just before. So you can't just only appeal to them because that's people. Are you because I meant to ask you because you went to see Spider-Man. Was it the weekend before or was it 2 weeks?
I saw Spider-Man on the day it came out, the 15th, and then I saw Matrix the day that came out on the 22nd. So
Oh,
yeah, the week,
nice.
the
Was it
week.
busy? Were they busy? The cinema? You said people. I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because Spider-Man was still on the second week, obviously. So the cinema was still busy for that. But it was
Yeah.
cool though because I went to see Spider-Man with my sister.
Mm.
I went to see Matrix with my dad, and that was like the first time me and my dad had ever just gone to cinema, just us two,
Oh
and it
wow.
was a cool experience, just being able to share that moment. Do you know what I mean?
Did your dad enjoy it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that showed me Matrix because I had never seen them as kids. So we
That's
spent
so
like one
cool, man.
weekend just watching all like the entire trilogy.
Oh,
Which
that's
when this film was coming out, I was like, "Do you want to see it in the cinema?" And it was around the time of his birthday anyway, so we kind of just blended the shit. It was dope.
oh, that's really nice, man. I think like it's one of the weird things about being an adult and spending time with your parents is that in some ways. when you spend time with them initially, and when you first start having conversations with them, you kind of realize that even though these guys are your parents, like you don't really know them,
Yeah,
like you don't know all the little things about what they enjoy. And because I think in some senses it's why I love our friendship so much, is because we've done so many different things together. And so
yeah,
I've seen you at the cinema, I've seen you playing football, I've seen you when you've perhaps not been in the best state of mind, I've seen
hmm
you when we've walked, and so on and so forth, uni, learning, working hard, etc., etc. But with your parents, I guess you don't spend that kind of time with them when you're younger. So and
yeah.
it must be weird, but you must notice things every now and then where you learn something new. You ever find have it where like your mum or your dad tells you a story that you've never heard before, and you're like, oh shit,
Yeah, they
uh,
lived an entire life before.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
happens all the time. Yeah, my dad is always like reminiscing about shit that happened to him in Tanzania and that when he was growing up. Like
Wow,
it's cool.
wow.
Um, yeah, he's a weird guy, man. It's dope. It's dope to learn about his life. You know what I mean? It's
Uh,
cool.
oh, that's really cool, man. Yeah. So, are you? What the question I was going to ask you was, are you? Is there any conscious effort there to like make cinema going like a regular experience? Is that something you thought about, or is it just because there was
It was
two
the
good
it was
films
it was
out?
based on the movie. It was more based on the
Okay.
movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Spider-Man, I knew I had to see in cinema. So I'm so Spider-Man's always been my favorite comic book hero. Um, and yeah, the Matrix was just a moment shared with my dad more than the film itself. But yeah,
I think.
it's going to the cinema again was cool though. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, it was a bit expensive. Like when you think about
How
the price
much?
tag,
Did you buy food?
yeah,
Okay.
it cost me about 60 quid total
Yeah.
for just the one with me and my dad in terms of
Yeah.
get. Or it was about I'd say about 50 quid. It was like 30 quid for the tickets for two of us,
Yeah.
and then about 25 pound for a drink and popcorn each. And about the same, obviously, like when I went with my
That's
sister.
nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Where did they get off thinking they can charge those
Do you know what it
prices
is?
for food?
It's because the Odeon around here has the recliner seats, like the comfier seats, so they can charge like 20 quid. I mean, 15 pound
Was
a
that
ticket.
is that a special screen, or is that just all the screens now?
All the screens now.
Oh wow, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I like that. I wonder whether they did that because they realized there are less people coming to the cinema because cinemas the numbers obviously have been dwindling and stuff, and therefore they thought if we give like a smaller amount of people a better experience, then we'll still you basically
yeah,
if you get
yeah.
someone to pay £15 for a recliner seat instead of £8 for a normal seat, one person is paying the price of two people, aren't they? So
Yeah.
I need to check that out when I'm back in Leicester because I don't
Yeah.
we don't have an ocean. Do you
Nice,
have an ocean? We
nice.
don't,
Come on.
do we? Is that an
Where's
ocean?
Frank at?
No. Oh
Oh, so
god.
I don't know why I did that head turn. Now,
God.
please cut that shit. where's, where's...
Right, I'm gonna set that as like a 7 second clip where it's just you going, "Where's Frank at?"
Oh, I'm slightly
um,
embarrassed. But yeah, you should
yeah, no,
definitely
we
go.
got this Cineworld. We just got the Cineworld, which doesn't. I remember reading when they were installing that at Leicester and being really jealous. But yeah, I told you that I was going to the Liverpool Leicester game at
Hmm.
Leicester. That Liverpool lost 1-0.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me tell you, sitting in a stand with like bear in mind my dad sits in the bit where all of the hooligans sit as well, the bit
Right.
right next to the away fans, sitting in a stand spending the whole game like I knew it wasn't going to go well. I don't know about you, but sometimes with your team you can tell when they're not playing well that
Hmm.
the chances are this is going to be a draw or a loss. You just
Yeah.
know something's off and you feel it. They're trying to do one thing that's not successful. You read it early on when
Hmm.
you watched them for so long. And I knew that from about maybe Salah missed a penalty. And I knew from then his confidence was shot. So there was no hope of a Salah escape mission where he rescues it, Deus Ex Machina style. And then Leicester scored. And sitting in amongst, so when Leicester scored, yeah, I can't just sit down because there's been a bit of animosity between Leicester and Liverpool fans recently. So I basically had to stand up and just jump. I'm just there next to my dad, and my dad, fair enough, like he turned to there's an older lady next to us, and they've sat there for a while, so he knows her. So he was like celebrating with her. He knew I would be next to him, like not knowing what to do, so he didn't look at me or do anything. So I'm just there. So that wasn't even the worst bit, because they spent the whole game singing songs like "Feed the Scousers," so basically singing about poverty. Like, and I absolutely hate it. They sang that, and they also sang about Hillsborough, and basically Leicester fans are known for doing it, and so Liverpool fans call Leicester uh, Tory City, or like whatever the centre of Tory is, which is wild, because the chances are most of the time it's working class people that are singing about poverty, which is just like, what are you doing? But yeah, that, mate, let me tell you right now, never, I don't know if you've done it, but never, unless it's a dead game like Arsenal versus Brighton, like never sit in the stand of the team, you know what I mean, the team you're against, because it was like horrible, absolutely horrible, man. But at the same time, in 10 years, I will look back regardless of the result, and I've got like a picture of Salah taking on their left back. Yeah. Salah taking on their left back, where he's like doing the little shimmy and stuff, and it is what it is. I saw I've seen like Ronaldo, Messi, Ronaldinho, and so it's just another name to add to the list, you know. Who fucking cares at the end of the day? But it was grim as fuck, man. Don't do it ever.
I can imagine. I was watching the game, and I remember you said you were going. I started chuckling a lot when Salah missed that penalty. I'm not gonna lie.
It was rough, man. Do you know what? I never chuckle when Arsenal do anything bad.
It's just the name. Like, it's just in me now to not like Liverpool. I don't know what it is.
It's because it's probably, I mean, I can't say for you obviously, but I would imagine it's because it's very hard to dislike Man City, because you can be like, they're a scourge. Like, it's ridiculous now, man. It is ridiculous. The fact that Liverpool won a title in amongst this run of their titles is just a like credit to Klopp and what he's capable of, and some the Liverpool players as well. But they just run away with it every year, and so you kind of just switch off to them. And all the other teams, I don't like Man U, I don't like Chelsea. I don't. Obviously, this isn't an insult in any way, but because Arsenal have dropped off a bit, there's not a rivalry
Don't
there
have
at
to
the moment.
worry about.
Yeah, but back in the day there was, and therefore, so I think it's just that. It's just that, like, and we have had some crazy games, man. Like, and it's nice to have rivals, isn't it? It's nice to have those games where. But I can't hate Arsenal as much, because this is why I don't understand your dislike of Liverpool, because Liverpool is a good football club, in the sense that the majority of what they do is anchored towards good. You know, they've won like the Fair Play Award for like 3 years running or something. Least bookings, least no red cards, stuff like that. This season they've got some already. But and Arsenal, I do the same, because for me, Arsenal is the real Londoners. The Londoners that I like support Arsenal. The rest of them support Chelsea. Like the racists mostly. Let's be honest. Not all of them, but that's
Do you
where
know,
most.
all right, I tell you what. I think it's less of me hating Liverpool in that sense as a club.
Yeah.
I just don't like some of your players. I don't like.
You've
how
said about Van
I don't like.
Dijk.
No, I don't mind Van Dijk. I don't like how they carry themselves. You know, it's obviously on their side it's confidence, and I understand that. But as an outsider looking in, it feels like arrogance. I don't like the way Salah, like, do you know what I mean? Obviously, you have to have the arrogance
Mo,
at
like,
that
you
top
can't
level.
hate
To
Mo.
me, at the top level they are, I understand it. I'm not cussing that idea of that mentality out. Yeah, I just don't like some of your players,
Hold
man.
up, no,
It's just what
I've
it
got.
is.
I can accept that.
Because
About.
looking
Yeah,
back,
go on.
the Torres Gerrard era, like when you look back, incredible. The Suarez Gerrard era was incredible. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like moments in your time, like I'm like, whoa, there obviously you can't hate that shit. I'm just looking at some of your plays now, I'm just like, fuck off.
Okay, so I can take I can take. I think Arsenal need that. By the way, I think that's the next step for
Yeah,
Arsenal,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why, like that Tomiyasu guy. One of the reasons I really liked him was he was no nonsense. Like
Mm-hmm.
he kind of looked like he didn't give a fuck about who he was playing. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people look a little bit too friendly and stuff. People like do stuff like they smile at Salah. Like certain clubs, they like smile at Salah and like talk to him, make jokes of him when they're playing. I just don't think that that's if you're going to be a big player. I don't think you can have
Yeah,
that. Um, but I can take some of the players, right? I can take Robbo because Robbo is an
yeah,
absolute
yeah,
gobshite.
yeah.
I can take Van Dijk because I've had issues in the past because I find him sometimes. I think maybe he becomes a bit complacent, and that has in the past you've said arrogant, and it does come across as arrogance. And Trent as well. Trent as well can come across as a
It
little
it
arrogant.
you know what it feels like. It feels like again, rightfully so in that time period, they were everyone was claiming they are the greatest players in their position in the
Mm.
league, right? So it's always like it just feels like they believed that hype and they got caught up in that hype. I'll say more than it is that I hate them. I don't know what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Okay,
And
no,
again, and it is probably the long-standing like friendship we've had, yeah, that has
yeah,
like been like, oh, if we can do better than Liverpool in that weekend, then that Monday morning walk into school, do you know
that
what I
was
mean? That
yeah, yeah,
it's just long
yeah.
standing with me. That's all it is.
Yeah. But the only I only take issue with you having a problem with Salah, man.
That
Have
guy
you
is
seen,
such an arrogant prick. What you want
are you
about
being
on the pitch?
serious?
On the pitch?
Have you on the
How
okay?
often? I'm sorry, yeah, but how often do you want to fall over for a penalty? Yeah, even if you're trying to exaggerate a touch that you like, oh, you clipped my shin, I'm
Yeah.
going to fall over. I understand that, yeah, but the smile on his face when he gets up and he realizes he's won that penalty, bro, just fuck off with it. Like,
But if an Arsenal player went down, won a penalty from a light touch that was a
of
clip,
course, but
you'd be
that's my
smiling.
that's my bias. I understand it. I understand it. But the geezer, yeah, I don't know, man. Just pass the ball to Mane sometimes as
But
well. Like, what are you doing? It's an open goal if you just shift it on.
oh, I see. You're a secret
Sweaty fuck, yeah.
Senegalese, aren't you? Have you
I am,
you know
yeah.
like they beef each
Centaur,
other like
like
Egyptians and people from Senegal are always
really
like commenting hate things on Mane or
nice,
Salah's posts.
nice.
Um so all right, yeah, I agree, but that's that ruthlessness, isn't it? And
Of
they do
course,
need
and
that.
like I said, I understand the mentality. To
But
be
do you
that
not
great, you
see
have to be that good. But like,
do you not see what the stuff he does off the pitch and it corrects it for you because he is an extremely humble human being and
I don't.
like
It's I don't care enough about his outside of the pitch. Well, as an Arsenal fan, I don't think I should.
so in I mean it
I only see him
depends.
on the pitch. I only see him on the pitch. I'm not gonna try and look at the geezer's background and be like, oh, he grew up broke. He's become one of the best in his position. He's earning a lot of
Yeah.
money for his family that he could never do back home. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? I understand all of that, yeah, but I
You,
just don't know what it is. I'm not
I've
gonna
actually
lie.
know what I can cut through all of this, right? And you know how like sometimes you can spot a psychological thing with someone and you can say, ah, you think this because if you've seen that in movies where they're like they analyze them, psychoanalyze them,
Hmm.
and they're like, this is why you believe that actually. You think it's that. I know what it is. It's when Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain said something to Mo Salah where he's like, you're the real Egyptian king, not Muhammad Ali.
Right, right.
That's got you hot, man. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
it.
defo. That guy can fuck off as well.
And then it.
No, well, yeah, him. But
Ox.
I was talking about
Ox.
Ox. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's jokes, man. No, I
It, it
truth
is.
truth
It
be
is.
told, deep down, I get it. I get it.
It
Like,
is probably just our long friendship that has like made me not like Liverpool in that way.
mm,
And to not name names, yeah, but it is probably also how it was shoved down my throat when a certain mutual friend of ours used to or still does support Liverpool and used to shove it down my throat when they won.
oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, it probably
Uh,
is that as well.
uh,
But I'll keep
I
his name out of my mouth.
I definitely was there probably at school. I imagine. I mean, I wouldn't. I probably would have gloated with you for sure
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like we were close like that. I wouldn't do it to someone random, but man, we used to back in the day. Do you remember like most? You had a bit of an era of good football, but
yeah,
most of the
yeah,
time it was just these glory hunting Man United fans, just like
yeah,
constantly all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. I'm
just
not even ashamed to
ripping.
say his name, but Yusuf was a little bitch.
Was he? Oh, he was a United fan. He was, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I completely
I
forgot
haven't
about that.
spoken
And
to
wasn't.
Geezer in 10 years. I'm not afraid of him listening to this. Like,
Or you just are not afraid of him in general, like he's
oh,
gonna
that
hunt you
too.
down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wasn't Omar a Man United fan? He didn't know much about
He
football
didn't
at
know
all,
much. I think
but
he
he
was a
would just come
Newcastle
in.
fan at the times as well. Like,
He's Jordan, yeah, whatever, man. Yeah. Oh God, I hated that so much, and that's why I always maintain that thing of at the end of the day, someone's happy. It was
yeah,
very hard to do when I was at Leicester. The only
yeah,
thing I could take away from that Leicester game is I went to a football match with my dad, and so it was
yeah,
just like, and it's the first football match he went to since he's been out of hospital.
yeah, yeah,
So if he gets to enjoy the win, but you know what? You like, let me tell you now, having a family where people support different teams, me and Charlie, I don't know what Charlie's like, but I'm pretty sure he's similar to me. When Liverpool beat Leicester, we do not say a
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
Leicester beat Liverpool, like in that year when they won the league and stuff,
Mhm.
Harry and my dad would come at us hard. And I brought that up
'Cause-
before
yeah,
this game. And we went to the match separate from Harry because he went with a mate. And when I got back, I was lying in bed. Everyone's in bed, yeah. My door's shut. I'm asleep, yeah. I'm asleep for all intents and purposes. But Harry, he could see that my light was on, I reckon.
yeah.
He got home because he'd been to the pub to celebrate, and I hear the door handle open, yeah, and I'm just in the room like on my phone, and he's like talking to me about stuff, and he's like keeping a straight face, but his mouth keeps going like that, like just slightly
Just
open.
ready to like rip in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Oh
jokes.
man, I did love it.
It's because it's not a common occurrence. It wasn't a common occurrence, so they got to enjoy it.
No, no, exactly, man. And it's
Yeah,
like I know for a fact that if someone can experience real joy at like a football resort, like when someone like Brighton or Sheffield United or whatever, as long as the fans aren't arseholes, if they beat us, I know, like when you see like a small time manager and how happy they are when they win a football match, and you're just like, whatever, like it's not the end of the world. We're not in the title race anymore, probably because Man City are unstoppable,
yeah,
but that's cool, man. Like this football is so cyclical, man. I reckon you guys are on the brink. I'm so happy that it's worked out for Arteta and
yeah,
that
yeah.
he has done the thing of having a style of football and going through the phase where everyone's just ripping it and ripping him and whatever. I'm
And got
so
given the
happy
opportunity to stay. Yeah.
the time. And I'm also so happy that you guys are a club like us that can't afford to just spend money every
Hmm.
season. And you have to have seasons where you promote through and you get I was going to list like a random player. Who's Pitt Brook? Do you remember someone called Pitt Brook? I'm going to need Josh Pitt Brook or something. I meant Smith Rowe. There's all these. Why does everyone have fucking double barreled name these days? Alexander Arnold, Smith Rowe, like
Maitland Niles, Oxlade Chamberlain.
Walker Peters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but uh, but
No,
yeah,
no,
I'm
it's
really
been a
happy
good
to see it.
it's been a good period recently.
Yeah.
Just a question I thought of during that time, slightly veering off course about football. How how well do you think you compartmentalize moments and like yeah, just in general, compartmentalize like things in your life. So like if something happens here, it's not going to affect something that's happening over here. Like a game of, for the example, game of football.
Mm.
Does it only last the 90 minutes, or is it like, oh, fuck, I'm having a bad day now that they've lost? Or that's the
In
example.
the past, I know it's not the same, but apparently, like Steven Gerrard, when Liverpool would lose, he'd go home. He wouldn't talk to his wife, like at all. Like, I mean, that's
Yeah,
why he's a
yeah,
winner. Whatever. I used to be like, don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to anyone. If Liverpool are losing, I don't want anyone talking while the game is on. I don't like it anyway. But in the past, I used to be awful. It would ruin my day. It'd ruin the next two, maybe even the week, bro. Um, Now, I have to be honest with you. If Liverpool are losing and playing badly, on most occasions, I will switch the game off. And it's saving my energy because I just know there's so many more things in life that are more important than footy. And I just go, if I watch this full game, I'm going to be in a bad mood because it does affect
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
And so I'm going, right, turn it off, read, and then reset. And I'm good. And then if they come back, they come back. I wouldn't do this for Champions League games. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
do
yeah.
this for a game against Man City, against all the big teams,
Yeah, yeah,
basically. But if it's like, because when little teams beat you, it's kind of like stupid. You just like, all right, that's stupid.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They should have
Well,
won,
how
but they didn't. Like,
how about you? I feel like you've gotten
a
gone
slight addition to that. How about when you at work? How good were you with like leaving work at work and then home at home?
good
If that makes
until a
sense.
good until a certain point. I've always had better than other people that I've worked with, say.
Yeah,
The ability to switch off. You know how, so like I have know a lot of people who need something to help them switch off.
yeah. Hmm.
So some people need weed, some people need alcohol. I've
Yeah,
never needed that. I can just go like turn off, meditate, turn my attention to something else.
yeah,
Until last year when I had like 24 sites or something. I was doing them all on my own. Most of them were not being managed properly by the company that I worked for. So they didn't give me enough time. They didn't give me enough money. They didn't give me anywhere to put my waste and stuff. And so in my head, I was like, I've got to do this tomorrow. And that
yeah,
ruined days. And that's why I quit because I'm not,
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not, I'm not willing
It
to.
bled into your actual life.
Yeah, if my work was something I enjoy, it doesn't have to be passion, doesn't have to be I
Yeah,
love it,
yeah,
just enjoy, then maybe I'll consider thinking about it in my outside time and I won't worry about that. But if it's something that is just work, no way am I thinking about that at 9 o'clock. But yeah, go on. You have to answer both those questions as well. You can start
oh,
with the
I'm in terms of football. I am very very happy with how I even anything. I'm happy with
mm,
how I compartmentalize shit in my head now. And it took a lot. I wouldn't say it took a lot of work. It took some work to get there. I think of Arsenal in a 90-minute period now, and that's it. Yeah, outside of the 90 minutes, if I see a bit of news or something, I'll read it, scroll past it, not think about it. Do you know what I
mm,
mean? Like, there's nothing. There's no attachment outside of that 90 minutes, which I'm gassed about. Work, again, similar in the sense of if it's a stressful moment and I know I have a lot on, there'll be moments where it bleeds into the evening where I'm like, fuck, I need to make sure I wake up slightly earlier to do this bit before I jump into meetings all day or
okay.
something like that. There's like moments there, but for the most part, my 9 to 5 is do my 9 to 5, dust
Mm,
my hands off and worry about my home life. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, I've always been a big advocate of I'm not gonna, for the most part, let my 9 to 5 dictate my life because that's not my life. Do you know what I
No.
mean? I never want to attach myself to my job. As much as I enjoy my job, don't get me wrong. I'll be the hardest worker you see in that 9 to 5 period, but you can't catch me after that. Do you know what I mean? Like you're
My
not gonna
phone's
find me
off.
there.
My phone's off.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you pre-warn me that I need to be in a meeting with, say, for the example, North America, at like 6 o'clock, then cool. I'm pre-warned. I know I can fit that in my day and then move on.
It's
But
control, isn't it? It's
yeah,
that's your decision to do that. You're not going to
yeah,
say
yeah,
no to that because you know it's important.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
it's all about control. And you're right, man. And that's probably a secret to some of your like feelings of peace and happiness at the moment. And like you do have that no. It is when to say no, isn't it? It's
yeah,
my
yeah.
phone's off now. Like do one. I'm not going to pick up. I just
I think
go on.
just very very quickly on that point, I think it's a super insightful piece. I think lockdown definitely moving away from London helped me with that totally because I used to be we've spoken about it a million times. I used to be the geezer that would say yes to everyone. If everyone's like, "Oh, do you want to come for a drink after work?" or "Do you want to do this on the weekend?" or whatever, where every single day I'd say yes, just because it
Mm,
added. I thought it added to my life. It added an experience. It added a memory to my life, my story, whatever. I think moving home March 2020 helped me say no to a lot of things because it
mm,
was a case of I can't do those things anymore. I can't
mm,
attach my being that person that is out all the time and
mm.
doing those things.
And
So
you're
sorry, go on.
sorry, go on. I was just
No,
going to say your home life, your outside of work life is so separate from work now because
yeah,
you're in Leicester and because it's your family that
yeah,
it gives you that kind of divide, doesn't it? It's not
yeah,
like you're going for a drink with your work mates
yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
actually, when are you actually not? Because surely they, even though it's sad, they probably remind you a little bit of work. Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because there'll be moments where they've had a hard day and they spend time whilst we're having fun talking about work. It's like
oh,
I'm not there for this. Remember
yeah,
why we're here, kind of thing. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
um, but yeah,
uh,
no, it's definitely that. It's definitely
yeah.
that.
Oh,
I get
man.
to just one last bit and then we're done for that. I get to enjoy my my time with my family outside of work because I know they don't need to care about my work.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's also the the thing that allows me to separate that shit. Because yes, they ask me how my day was, but I give them the high level view of uh, I need to design this page for this reason. Done. Like that was it. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Whereas before, I could get into the details because people know more about what you're actually
Yeah.
working on. Um, so yeah.
That's an not unexpectedly, but maybe something that's not highlighted very often, that it's so good to have people that I guess have no connections to any of that stuff. And
Yeah.
in some ways, it's good to have people that have no connections to your family, to work.
Hmm.
So have you ever I read about it somewhere about this idea that it's good to know someone that doesn't know the people you know, because then you can talk to them and they don't know anyone you know. So if you want to
They
have
get
a
an
frank
unbiased view.
conversation,
Like,
yeah, it's completely free of their impression of your work or of your
mhm,
whatever. But yeah, that's really cool,
that's cool.
man. Yeah, I think that's really important as well. This is just sad that so many people don't have that.
Hmm.
And they can't because companies don't let them, and companies think that it's better to work than replace to the bone when it actually is better for them to be able to rest properly. And it's better for you to be able to go home and do what you want because the next day your brain has A, rested, but B, also made all sorts of different connections from different parts of your life that you will then bring into work. If you're just
Yeah.
working all the time, you're just writing. So let's say you're writing about brick walls all the time, then you're never gonna have any insight from, and it's a really bad example, but
No,
you're
no, I
never
know
gonna
what you
have
mean.
insight from something else about, oh, actually, what about if you built a brick wall differently?
Yeah,
Instead, you're just
yeah.
like brick wall, brick wall.
I think one of the things that really helped me have that kind of mindset on work and keeping it separate, and I've always had it anyway. But working in retail or working at William Hill, I'll say, was such a great moment in my life because they have such a high turnover rate that the idea that the cog will keep turning no matter whether you're there or not, you have a day off, you have a week off,
Mm,
the machine's still going. And when I got made redundant at the tech company I worked at, they it was the same thing. It was like a good reminder. You know how we spoke about the earthquake moment before? It was that. It was like, oh yeah, the cog's gonna keep turning. Why am I giving so much of my time
mm,
and effort to work? Like
mm,
they're gonna just carry on without me anyway. Like what's the
mm.
fucking point?
Yeah,
And not a dig at them because they did the right thing by getting rid of a bunch of us because they needed to, and I understood it at the time. But for myself, it's like, oh yeah, like you don't want to be working 9 to 9. Like what are you fucking doing? So those moments definitely helped me start like,
yeah.
this is that, leave it there. This is that, leave it there. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
I'm
mm.
very excited about that. I'm
It
happy about
is
that.
it's kind of sad. Not It's not sad looking back, but it's sad looking at yourself in those moments when you're putting all of that into work. When you do realize how little you actually matter to them. I feel like unless a company is like maybe 20 employees max, then like when it comes down to it, like who I think I read a story once where I can't remember. It was like a play or something like that, but it was about this guy and he went to work every day to this it was like he was like a manager of like an factory or something like that. He worked there every day for fucking ages. So it might have been insurance, whatever. And he retired, and then basically like they didn't even give him like flowers or anything, like nothing, like just oh right. And I think he probably got like a voucher or something when he left, And I think he died. The idea was he died within like a month not doing that job anymore because it was all he never knew, and he put his
Yeah.
life into it. And it's
Yeah.
like people get so lost inside companies and stuff and thinking, oh, I don't want to let this person down. I don't want to let this person down. But everyone is doing the same thing, and it's all just who are we actually working for? Unless you're working
Mm.
towards a really important mission, deep down, you do have to do what you do and basically
Mm.
go work's work, but after that I'm doing what I want. My
Yeah.
life is
Yeah.
more important than that. But yeah, man. Shall we tie up because we've gotten to like I'm so shiny, man. I told you I was sticky. I'm stickier now than when we began. I reckon if you like
You're
push me
welcome.
against the
I
wall,
just,
I'd just be
just
like, like them things people throw at the
the bug.
window and then they like
Yeah.
peel down. That'd be me,
Yeah.
just like, uh, brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Okay.
can end it here. Thank you for listening to this fourth conversation in a bunch of conversations. I've been Mikesh. This has been Jack. This is Tears in Amsterdam, and we'll see you in the next one.